When my folks hit the plains more than 100 years ago.
I was a little kid and there were two things I wanted to do, which was draw pictures and make music. And I didn't get a guitar till I was a senior in high school. But even at that time, even though I wasn't very good at guitar at all, and I was teaching myself, which is, when you have a fool for a student and a fool for a teacher. Learning to play songs off by listening to the radio. Folk music puts a story first, and that's not true with all music. The Bee Gees singing "Staying Alive" it's not telling a story per se. But if you're out dancing on a Saturday night, what are you going to listen to? Peter, Paul, and Mary, or the Bee Gees? So music does all kinds of things. Folk music's about the stories, and that's just something I like. And plus, I was. My formative years, which for all of us is that time when we're getting hair under our armpits, and starting to notice the other sex and wanting to grow up. Whatever you're listening to then is something that really shapes you. And I was listening to Dave Van Ronk and Bob Dylan. I was listening to Donovan. I was listening to Peter, Paul, and Mary. I was listening to Ramblin' Jack Elliott. I was listening to the folk artists. We are influenced profoundly by where we come from. There's no more important thing in a person's makeup, I think, than place. People are people. The more you focus on the specifics of an individual and their place, the more general it becomes, not the more specific. As Hemingway said, any man's life truly told is a novel. If you can take any place and write songs or poems or plays about it, then you're really writing them about everywhere and everybody. The thing about Lubbock is this tough but very rewarding culture that we have, which is still essentially a frontier culture. I mean, if you think about it, we just had our centennial as a city, and there have been people here only a few years before we formed a city. The march of what we call civilization jumped over the Great Plains and the Southern Plains in particular and went out to the West Coast. So this is a new place. People still treat each other in that way. This is a place, and one of the reasons I think we have so much music and art here is that this is a place where if you can do something and do it well, you get encouragement. For instance, when I quit my 8 to 5 in the financial services business to be a folk singer, I was in my 40s. And I had friends in New York, LA, Dallas, Denver, here in Lubbock, who were all in finance. And I thought, well, the people in New York are going to think it's cool, and the people in Lubbock are going to think I'm a real dork. And it was just the other way around. The people outside of Lubbock were astonished that I would quit a good job. But the people in Lubbock, to a person, would say, man, if I could sing and play, I would quit and do that too. Or if I could paint, I would quit and do that too. Like my friend Buck Ramsey says about a cowboy. His definition of a cowboy is a person who's in the right place at the right time. It's a cult of skill, he says. It's not, it doesn't matter about your hat or any of that sort of stuff. Well, out here on the frontier, people are valued for what they do and not where they come from, who they are, what they own, but for what they do. Not every story is best told as a song or a poem or a painting. And indeed, any individual story can be told thousands of ways. So the more ways you can tell it, the better job you get in covering that story. It's surprising in this world, if you try something, how often you're going to succeed at it. Most of our lack of success is a failure to try it in the first place, not because we actually fail.
Everybody has their definition of what they consider great art. What's your definition of great art?
True. Art that's true.